Cookie dough is good any time of year, but nothing says holidays quite like Snickerdoodle cookie dough. And oh, it's that time of year, so you better bet we are making Snickerdoodle cookie dough on the channel, but anabolic today. Just like the chocolate chip cookie dough, it is loaded with protein. It is a huge serving, especially compared to the original, and it is thicker than last time, reminding you of those mornings when you would wake up as a kid and enjoy some Snickerdoodle cookies while opening your presents. My name is Nick, or Exercise for Cheat Meals, where I make original anabolic recipes and review other people's anabolic recipes as well. So if you're into that kind of thing, subscribe to the channel and like this video. And I would highly recommend you stick around to the end so I can break down the macros for you, compare it to the original recipe, and also give you some substitutions that you can use for this cookie dough to make it even lower calorie. So all aboard the Anabolic Express and let's ho 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 into this recipe. Let's get into it. We're gonna start out with our dry ingredients first, and that'll be our regular ass flour. Gonna need about 115 grams of this. Now there are some people that are very worried about the flour being raw. So for those purposes, I'm going to put it into the microwave for 30 seconds at a time until it reaches 160 degrees. To know it is at 160 degrees, I do have a food thermometer. These are about $10 on Amazon, and I mean, $10, why not? To know if your food is prepared. I'm much more worried about my meat, which is why I actually have this thermometer. Our flour is at the temperature we need it to be. Now I'm gonna let it cool down for a couple minutes and I will be right back. Okay, bye. Now we're going to add 2 1/4 scoops of protein. I love the bodybuilding brand protein, especially the vanilla. There's not many vanillas that are good. I rep this all the time, and I rep it because I've been using it for years. Ever since it came out, I was skeptical. They sent me actually a sample and it was great. Highly recommend, super cheap. It's about $7.50 a pound. Everywhere else that I see is $15, $20 a pound for protein. Yeah, no. 2 1/4 scoops is about 74 grams for me. Start out using 2 1/4 scoops that you would use. If it's not thick enough, the next time use 74. No big deal. It's still going to taste delicious, I can guarantee you. Next, we will add our cinnamon. This took a while for me to figure out because I'm also going to be doing an ice cream with this coming out in the next week or so. However, I just didn't want to have it too cinnamony, and I also really wanted to get that real cinnamon Snickerdoodle flavor. I ended up going with 2.5 grams of cinnamon. If you don't have a point scale, which I have, again, I love this scale. It'll be in the description along with the protein and everything else that you can get. It's great. I mean, it has been on point for months. I use it every day, so many times a day. I'm making recipes each and every night, trying to perfect them, and this thing has been through World War III, and it is absolutely incredible. If you don't have it though, you can definitely do 2 grams, or when it starts teetering up towards 3, that means it's at like 2.6, 2.5, 2.6, and then you can keep that and have right around 2.5 grams. Or if you really love cinnamon, 3 grams. Up to you. Now we're gonna put 1.5 grams of salt. An easier way to do that if you don't have a point scale is to measure out 1/4 teaspoon, because that should be about 1.5 grams. I do want to experiment and bake these ones. I put baking powder in the final recipe and not put baking powder in the final recipe. The taste comes out the same, but I am curious if these ones will bake up a little bit better just because I do have a bit more flour in them. So we're going 1.2 grams here. So we are done with our dry ingredients. We do want to give this a good mix around. We don't want clumping, and mixing everything together will prevent clumping. And we're gonna put this to the side. So just give it a good mix, 30 seconds to a minute, and then we'll get on with our wet ingredients. I'm gonna start out with 4 tablespoons of light butter. This butter is half the calories of real butter, and it tastes exactly the same. I can't tell the difference. And when I try to use, I can't believe it's not butter, as I said in the last video, it doesn't really taste the same. Like, pretty much not even close to the same. And you're only saving 15 grams, and the 35 calorie one for I can't believe it's not butter is olive oil. Olive oil and cookie dough really don't mix. You don't see an olive oil put into a cookie dough like ever. I just took this out of the fridge. If you just took it out of the fridge, I would heat it up for about 10 seconds max, just so it gets nice and soft and mixes in with everything. But I should have taken it out about 10 minutes earlier. If I would have taken it out 10 minutes earlier, there would have been no need for this. And it actually mixes even smoother if you let it soften naturally. A little bit different than the last one, I'm going to only add 1 whole egg to this one. Now, these are not pasteurized. You can choose to pasteurize them. You cannot choose to pasteurize them. I've eaten whole eggs my whole life in raw cookie dough, in raw cake batter, in raw dough mixes. I can't taste egg, it doesn't taste raw, and it tastes absolutely amazing. You make that choice. I'm not saying what to do. Go and ask your doctor, your medical professional. I'm going to take that chance and use a raw egg. Now, the great thing is that a lot of you guys were using egg whites, which is absolutely wonderful, and those are already pasteurized when you get them in the carton, at least all the ones that I've seen. So with that being said, if that's what you want to utilize, you can. But I'm going to separate the egg white from the egg yolk in here. Unlike chocolate chip cookie dough, we really don't want as much vanilla, and the vanilla protein powder really already gives it a very strong vanilla taste. So I'm only going to go with a half teaspoon of vanilla. I don't want it to be too vanilla. When I was putting a teaspoon in it, the first 4 or 5 batches, it was just too much vanilla. So if you guys are just joining the channel for the first time, I go through usually tens of batches. Since I took so long with the chocolate chip cookie dough, it did not take me as long to come up with this one, but this was still about 12 batches until it was perfected, which is a lot of damn batches of cookie dough to go through to try and see which one tastes the best and why. Now on to our last ingredient, and that is erythritol. Erythritilian. I don't really care what it's called or how it's actually pronounced. I know that this tastes absolutely amazing. It has, from what I've seen, 0 calories, but people argue there's about 2.4 calories in 10 grams. So if there is calories, it's very, very, very minuscule. And we're going to use 48 grams of this. It is very similar to the cookie dough recipe, besides the fact that there's no brown sugar in this one. I do link these in my description as well, and this is the artificial sweetener I'll be using going forward because stevia, whatever, sucralose, all that stuff has like 2 to 3 calories per gram, which in 48 grams is still 100 or 150 calories. So I'm gonna stick with my erythritol, my swerve, and we're gonna mix this together, and then we're going to add the dry ingredients in parts. I've seen about 4 or 5 reviews now, and I don't think there's been one person that has reviewed the recipe that has done it in parts.
No freaking way.
And I think it's hilarious. It'll still work. I just think the consistency is better. There's less clumping. And even when you put it in the fridge, a lot of it disperses and the clumps go away. But when you mix it in all at the same time, there still will be little tiny clumps. It's still gonna be delicious. But you guys are hilarious. Thank you for everyone that has commented on that video. Thank you to everyone that has supported that video. And thank you for everyone that has tried and reviewed the recipe to really help show support. It has really helped the channel a lot. I appreciate the shit out of you guys. It's actually a great Christmas present to me. I'm on the road to 5,000 by the end of the year and hopefully 10,000 in the next 3 months. Let's keep working though. So many good videos coming out soon. Let's mix this together though and get our cookie dough finished. I probably whisk this for about 2 minutes to really make sure everything's incorporated. It really takes a while to break an egg down. So if you don't know if you went long enough, just keep going. It's not gonna hurt it if you over mix it. And you're gonna get a sick arm pump. Now we're gonna mix our dry into our wet ingredients. I do it in 4 parts. You could do it in 3, you can do it in 5. I found the best consistency, especially after it sits, by doing it in 4. Again, if you pour it all in at the same time, you will be good, but you won't have as smooth a consistency, especially after it sits in the fridge. When it sits in the fridge, something magical happens. I don't know exactly how the science works, but something magical happens. And when you put it in parts, it's even more magical than before. All right, so we have the first part in. This one is actually a bit thicker than the last one because we are using a little bit different of ingredients. I can't just take the first dough and just add some cinnamon, take out the chocolate chips, and make it a Snickerdoodle cookie dough. There's still work that needs to be put in. There's still playing around that needs to happen. And I wanted this to be a little bit thicker because I know some people like that classic cookie dough. And because of the fact that I don't have to add chocolate chips or anything else to it, I'm actually able to make it a little bit thicker by adding more flour. And the best part is we're not changing the macros at all from the last cookie dough. Let's get our second part in here and get a little bit thicker. Okay, bye. Now, our second one, we're already looking pretty thick. Let's get it. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna get my oven because we're gonna test this out. I haven't tried to make this into a cookie. I know that this has a lot more flour in it, so it might be able to bake into an actual soft cookie, but I'm making no guarantees. I just wanna test it out for y'all because you guys asked a lot in the comment section, and it's hard for me to comment back to you guys all the time, so I want to be able to answer that question in video. Now this is only our third part, and look where we're at. God, I really do love this. I mean, we are super thick. This is about where we were at the end of the last one, but we still have one more part to go. So this is going to be much more reminiscent of when you pop open that plastic of the Pillsbury Doughboy cookie dough and you take one out and you crunch into it. You're gonna get a nice crunch, some sugar in there, some cinnamon in there, and that thickness of a real cookie dough. This is where I switch over from the fork to our beautiful holiday spatula to get this last mix in here because this one is going to be tough to do with a fork and I wanna really spread everything out. If you guys love a Snickerdoodle cookie, you're going to love this. Like, I tried 2 real cookie doughs. I have one in the fridge actually, of like a full butter, full fat, full whatever calorie version. This is better. This is better. I don't know what it is with me and cookie dough, but I am guaranteeing again that this is better than store-bought cookie dough. And I can't wait for you to try, like, when I get towards this and I try the recipe, I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't wait for you guys to just throw this stuff together. If you guys made the chocolate chip cookie dough, you guys have all this stuff already besides maybe cinnamon. Most of you guys have cinnamon for other recipes, for maybe my cinnamon toast crunch ice cream recipe. It's all there. You can go run to your fridge, run to your pantry, put this together, and you guys will be enjoying this in about 10 minutes. If I wasn't doing this video, this takes me 10 minutes. Oh my God. All right, let's finish the cookie dough so we can bake this up and see, does it come out like a cookie or not? See how this one, it does fall, but it takes a while. Definitely much thicker. And then once you put it in the fridge, completely changes the game. It's legit cookie dough once it's in the fridge. Same consistency, better flavor than the ones from the store, and protein packed. Like you literally can't beat it. You can't. Tell me how you can beat it. Let me know. For the amount of flavor, consistency, texture, realness, and amount of protein and anabolism that is in this cookie dough, you cannot beat it. All right, everything here is well incorporated. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our scale, we're gonna put whatever we wanna put the cookie dough in on the scale. This is gonna make you 6 servings. But just so you guys kind of understand this, and kind of know this if you guys haven't really meal prepped, you turn the scale on with the plastic already on there, and we're just gonna add our cookie dough to it. See how much thicker this one is? Like I have to force this one out. The other one kind of just went in there if I kind of put it in that direction. This one's definitely a lot thicker. Now you wanna get every little last bit out, but it's never gonna be perfect, because I mean, I try to scrape this bowl and get everything out of here, but stuff just inevitably sticks. That's why calories aren't perfect. And that's why when I count my calories, I always overestimate rather than underestimate and leave myself an extra 100 calories at the end of the day to be off. So say my calories were about 2,600, I would eat 2,500 and leave that 100 for a room of air because I probably did eat 2,600, but I just didn't count it that way. And I could do a whole video on that type of stuff if you would like me to. Just let me know in the comments section below. We're at about 380 grams, okay? Each serving in this cookie dough is 63 grams. For 63 grams, you get 166 calories, 6 grams of fat, 23.7 grams of carbs, most of which are erythritol carbs, which aren't real carbs. It's about half the net carbs, and 12.6 grams of protein. Now, when you multiply that out by 3, you get about 500 calories and about 38 grams of protein. Very similar to the chocolate chip cookie recipe as far as protein goes. And just like the chocolate chip cookie dough, you get double the serving for the same amount of calories as the one at the store. And not only that, the one in the store has 1 gram of protein along with a crap ton of fat and carbs in it as well. Let's just look that up real quick, actually. I should have the picture. These macros are even better than I expected. So for 1 cookie, which is 20 grams in total of weight, there is 110 calories, 17 carbs, and 1 gram of protein. 110 calories, 20 grams. You're getting 63 grams in this recipe, which is triple, and you're only adding another 55 calories. And not only that, you're getting 12 times the protein. You literally can't beat it. But there's more. For many people, they're like, oh, I taste the erythritol, I taste artificial sweetener, and I know there are people that are sensitive to things like sweeteners. That is a-okay. Going through all of these recipes, I have put pinches of this in my mouth. No big deal. I think it tastes very, very similar to sugar. To make a real Snickerdoodle cookie, if you've ever made it with dough, they always give you this packet of cinnamon sugar. So I was trying to figure out what could I do to replicate that. And instead of having to take this out of here and mess with it, I decided to just put a topper on here. In a separate little tiny bowl here, I'm gonna put 10 grams of Swerve, and we're gonna put 1 gram of cinnamon. And then we're just gonna mix that up. Now that we're done with that, all we're going to do is we're gonna spread it evenly throughout the top. When you do make cookie dough, you roll it in the cinnamon sugar, so when it melts, it has it along the whole outside. And this, my friends, is a real Snickerdoodle cookie dough. Put your spoon in it, eat it spoon by spoon, and love every single bite, knowing that you're becoming more anabolic with every single bite. Oh my God. Telling you, better than the store-bought version. I'm going to replicate what I was just talking about by making an actual dough ball, putting it on parchment paper, and putting it in there and see if it turns out. So I'm gonna take 63 grams, which is 1 full serving. See, I wish I had this in the fridge because this would be a lot easier to mess with. But if you guys did put this in the fridge, it would be so much more pliable, like literally 10 times thicker than this. All right, so I'm gonna put it in there, let's say 8 minutes at 350, and we'll see what happens. Well, it looks pretty damn good. Looks pretty close. However, looks can be deceiving. So I'm gonna let this cool off. And again, I'll be back in a minute. All right, so we give this about 5 minutes to chill. And it's gotten a lot harder. It was super soft in the middle when I first took it out. And that's why you always gotta be careful with cookies, because you think they're soft in the middle and then you take them out and then you let them harden for about 10 minutes and then they like are literally rock hard and overdone. But I can already tell it's not gonna be good. Now it is better than the last one. The last one was super duper spongy and had a lot of like air pockets in it. This one was a lot more condensed. It's actually not bad. Definitely not the best Snickerdoodle cookie I've had, but this is 10 times better than the chocolate chip cookie dough one. I think you would still need to add like, I don't know, just a guess, but 10 or 20 grams of flour. I don't know if you can tell now. It does have a pretty good consistency. Touching it from the outside, I didn't think so. Kind of does though. Anyways, cook it, not cook it, add the cinnamon sugar on top. Don't add the cinnamon sugar on top. If you don't cook it and you don't add it on top, it is still going to be absolutely delicious and you're gonna love it. I guarantee it. Now, you guys are awesome. I don't even think I need to ask, but if you do try it, leave your opinion in the comment section on how it tasted, what you thought of it, what could be improved, what was great about it already. Just leave all that stuff in the comment section. If you have any questions, also leave it in the comment section. Me or actually a couple other people that are very, very awesome, like Zanny himself, go to the comment section, actually help me answer questions. We're all a nice anabolic community. We're here to answer questions and to help each other out. So until next time, I will see you in that next one. Deuces.